What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of spot hopping, a little bit of pond jumping, creek running, you name it. I don't know, not really sure exactly what we're getting into today. I'm actually just going to be scoping out some spots that I've marked on the maps, and make sure you stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to show you guys my favorite way of finding new spots and kind of how I go about finding all my fishing spots. I've probably got, just in my local area, 100 plus spots saved. Obviously I'm not going to share all of them with you guys because I got some juicy spots in there, but otherwise, yeah, we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to hit up my first spot and see if we can catch some fish. And then, like I said, again, make sure you stick around to the end of the video so that I can show you guys the best way to find good fishing spots. Let's get to it. All right, y'all, we're at our second spot here. I'm gonna try to be quick and ninja-like with this because I'm pretty sure there's no fishing here, but to be honest, I've seen some bigs here the last time, so I kind of want to sneak down here real quick and get a few casts in. I don't know if anybody walks down here on this trail or if anybody would even see me, but we're gonna give it a shot because, like I said, I've seen some freaking bigs in here, and you know, a little no fishing sign never stopped anybody. For the record, I haven't actually seen that, so I think we're okay, but I know I've seen like a conservation pond sign, and you know, usually that means no fishing, so whatever. We're gonna give it a couple casts and see if we can't get something. I'm tossing around a little finesse jig. I will say I wish I had a more weedless setup than what I have, because I've just got my finesse jig with me right now. Which doesn't do well in that freaking muck. Alright, the people with the dogs took off up there. They must be leaving, so that's a good sign. Oh. Well, this is a good spot, but I feel like this would be a good maybe topwater spot in the evening, early morning, because it's super loaded with grass, and my little finesse jig really is more suited for like a rocky area. All right, y'all, that was the second spot down. There's a lot of bass in there, but I didn't bring a lot of tackle with me today, and the last spot I threw off my whopper plopper and my freaking worm with the spinner on the back. So I've got my finesse jig with me. I do have a few things. I got some Senkos and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of bass in this spot here. So I'll have to come back and try this at another time. I don't think I'm supposed to be fishing there, but you know what they say, right? I mean, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, I guess. So I'm gonna go hit up a little creek that's down the road from here that I've marked that I haven't been to yet. We'll see. Hopefully it's more than just a few inches deep, and maybe we can actually catch something in that. Otherwise, I've got a couple other spots I want to hit up, and we may slide back through this pond here because there's a ton of bass in there, and definitely some big ones. I saw a couple of decent sized ones, and I feel like they would hit topwater pretty good because I guarantee they don't get fished ever. But yeah, so I just there's a ton of grass mat in there, and every time I cast the jig in, I'd pull it out and it'd be covered in grass. So it's definitely, you know, definitely like a weedless worm, weightless Senko, topwater type pond. Let's hit up that next spot. All right, I'm at spot number 3. This spot actually doesn't look horrible, but it looks really shallow, so it's hard to say. I can't really see back in there, so I don't know how deep it is. Trying to cast this in there without freaking getting it snagged in the tree. Huh. Interesting little spot here. Definitely too shallow over here on this side, and there's so much junk in there, I don't think I would trust wading in it. And there's a couple sunfish right there that might be big enough to hit this, but I don't think so. Let's see. All right, that spot was a bust too. You know, that's kind of how it goes. Like when you're looking for spots, like you just never know. You know, I wasted so much time looking for new spots and driving to places, and you know, you got to drive 10-15 minutes between each spot. It adds up, you know, but you never really know until you know, and it's like if you don't get out here and put in the work, you're not going to find good spots. That's the way I see it, because you know, a lot of the spots that I've found easily, or that are, you know, publicly well known, that you can just Google and go find, they're good. You know, there is some good spots, don't get me wrong, but like it's not the same as a spot that you went and found that, you know, most people don't fish, right? You know, the fish are just gonna be less pressured. There's likely to be bigger fish in there, and you're gonna have an easier time catching them, unless you're like me and don't know how to cast a bait caster, so you lose all your lures and you backlash at every single cast. But you know, aside from that, we're gonna go hit up another spot. I've actually scoped this out one time without a fishing rod with me. I was out working and I saw it, so I stopped, and it looks pretty decent. There's not a lot of places to cast from it. It's just a nice little pond, but I did see quite a bit of little sunfish and stuff, which means that there's probably bass in there too. So we're heading there now, and then I think after this spot we might swing by, grab some Panda Express for dinner, and then we might swing back by the other pond that we were at and see if we can't get anything there. All right, spot number 3, we're gonna give it a go, see what we can't do here. Hopefully we have better luck, and hopefully I don't absolutely wreck my reel and have to break my rod in rage. But you know, like I said before, this spot looked pretty good. You know, it looked like there may be some people that fish here, but I don't know, because there was no trash or anything like that, and a lot of you fishermen are freaking trashy, so usually I can tell whenever there's people that have been fishing in an area. But I've got a little ball head jig on my finesse rod that I'm going to put a little 3-inch Keitech on if I don't get any bites on this. I've actually got a clutch, mini clutch I think it is. First freaking cast, backlashed it. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to cast.
Got him. Oh, that's a decent one too. Nice. That is a freaking good one. I watched him fall. He ate it right at the bank. Hold on. Settle down, bro. Left my freaking pliers in the truck. Wow. What a good fish. I had to run and grab my pliers, but nice bass. Very nice bass. Let's put him back and see if we can't get another one. Thanks for biting, buddy. Fish on already? Either he's running at me. Oh no. I must have hit something. Alright, let's grab my other rod and we're gonna throw that ball head jig with some of these I'm gonna show y'all here in a second. These things freaking stink, but they are kind of the juice. So Keitech Swing Impact 3-inch, not the fat, these are the regular Swing Impact. These are the strong squid scent, and this time I've got Pro Blue / Red Pearl. I think last time I got like a smoke color, and very similar to this, but dude, I wish you guys could smell this through the freaking camera. It absolutely stinks. And I like to rig these on a 1/16 ounce sickle hook ball head jig. These are made by Mr. Crappie. I like the sickle style hook because it gives it a little bit more bite gap than the regular ball heads, especially because this is kind of a fatter plastic for these 1/16 ounce. I've used the regular ball head jigs a handful of times, but I do prefer the sickle head. I just feel like I get a little bit better hookup ratio, and you know, it's about the same anyway. So I will tell y'all what, it's getting that time of the year here in East Tennessee that it is just gorgeous weather. Gorgeous weather. It's like mid-70s maybe right now, maybe high 70s, but doesn't really feel like it. And a little bit of a breeze, but it's been nice. It's only been getting in like I think the, I don't know, mid-80s during the day, if that. With all this rain we've had, it's actually been even cooler. Fish. Yes, sir. Oh, damn. I didn't have him very good, and I would have had a really hard time landing him, but let's cast back in there. There we go. There's one. Had to pull him through the grass. There we go. Nice little chunk. Yeah, that's a healthy, nice little bass. Nice little largie. It's turned out to be a pretty good spot. Go ahead and just chuck him back over the bushes here. So I'm pretty sure there's actually some soccer fields kind of near this. So that's, you know, why there's like a public access to it. What this pond is, I have no clue, and honestly, hey, as long as I'm catching fish, I don't even care. That first one I caught was definitely a decent size compared to that little one I just got. Yeah, so I think this spot would actually be pretty good in the wintertime when all the grass dies, because then I should be able to get along the bank there and maybe even over here. I don't know. I wonder if I should bring my kayak in here one day and just toss it in and get back on the other side of the pond. I'm sure nobody's done that before. That would be kind of funny. There's a bass right there that just followed that in. Got him. Got him. Oh, that's a decent sized one too. All right, let's get him out of here. Wow, that's a good one. Another freaking chunk. Look at that, guys. Decent bass right there. That's at least, he's chunky too, man. He is chunky. At least a pounder, probably. 1 pound, maybe pound and a half, I don't know. Chunky bass. But see, that's the reason why you guys break the mold, go find your own spots. What's crazy is where I hooked that fish. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but what's crazy is where I hooked that fish. I literally broke the hook trying to get it out. I hooked it straight through the bone in his jaw, and the hook was not coming out. So I got the hook out of him, but it snapped in the process. So not a big deal. These are just, you know, like I said, cheap ball head jigs. So not super worried about that, but also at the same time, I was not expecting that. So I think my camera must have turned off. Hopefully you guys saw that last fish catch. I think you might have. That was probably when I was just jacking with it after the fact. So I actually am testing out a new way to power my GoPro. I've got this battery bank. It's a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank, and I'm using that to power the GoPro. That way I ain't got to change the batteries all the time. But I got that last bass. I'm just casting the clutch a little bit since I had completely broke the hook off trying to get it out of him, which I did get the hook out and the broken piece, but the hook snapped whenever I was trying to shake him out. So I'm going to cast the clutch a little bit, and then we're going to get back to the house, and I'm going to get on my computer and show you guys how I find these juicy spots. And you know, obviously the proof right here is in the pudding. I've actually literally never fished this spot and caught two pretty good largemouth, in my opinion, at least for Tennessee, and a little small one. And for this little pond, I feel like we did pretty good. Probably done scared all the bass away now, backlashing like that. Drop a like on this video and let me know if y'all want me to come back and drop the kayak in here and see if we can't catch a pond monster on the other side of this pond. I know there's one in here. There's got to be some bigger bass in here. Less than 30 minutes, we caught two decent ones and a little small one. There's a healthy population of minnows and sunfish. That's one thing I don't think I've mentioned yet that you guys want to be looking for is look for a sunfish, look for minnows, any signs of life basically. Because if you're not seeing life, there's probably not predator fish, right? They gotta have something to eat. So you want to make sure that you're seeing something that they would want to eat, you know, whether that be little sunfish, little bluegill, shad, shiners, minnows, whatever it is. You just want to make sure you're looking for signs of life, because you know, you don't want to waste a bunch of time at a pond. If I get there and I don't see any signs of life, I might give it a few casts, but I'm not going to sit there and waste a bunch of time, because, you know, I'd rather be catching fish than just casting to nothing, right? I think that's one critical part of this whole process is, you know, there's a few things, I guess, that you want to really look at. Number one would be water depth. Number two would be food. And then, obviously, number three being the most important for... Uh-oh. Oh no, I just got my freaking clutch in that tree. Damn, I lost my clutch. No! Okay, what I was saying before I lost my freaking mini clutch. That's 4 lures today. 4. A chatterbait, my whopper,
spinner worm, and a clutch. It's the price of fishing, man. Anyway, what I was saying is there's a couple key things you want to look for. Number one, water depth. Number two, food for the fish. And number three, access for yourself, right? You want to be able to get to the bank, or at least cast without completely spooking everything off, and also without trespassing, right? You don't want to do no trespassing. I will never condone trespassing. I might fish in some places that are questionable, but you don't want to trespass. So, you know, make sure you're looking for those three things when you're actually out here scouting the spots. And, you know, sometimes when you're just driving, you might want to just pull off on the side of the road and, you know, when you see some water and scope it out. I think it's best to do research on the computer first. That way you can make sure that it's not private property. But typically you can tell if it's private property just by looking. You know, you can tell if you're in somebody's yard or somebody's property or not, right? But one way to do it is you can go on like your county's tax assessor website, and typically they have some kind of system where you can actually look at different properties. You can see property lines, and you can kind of tell where, you know, people's properties lines are. You can use Zillow. I know people have used Zillow before too. But honestly, like if you just, you know, use a tiny bit of common sense, I feel like you can tell if you're on private property or not most of the time. There are situations where you want to double check. So, you know, make sure you double check. You don't want to get arrested for trespassing, but most people are pretty cool. They see you fishing, they might tell you to leave, but most people aren't going to give you a huge problem about it unless they're complete Karens, right? All right, guys, here we are. We're back at the house, and I'm on Google Maps on my computer. I just kind of wanted to run you guys through my process for finding new spots and kind of what I like to do to, you know, find spots that maybe aren't as pressured by the general public, or, you know, that aren't so well known, right? So really what I like to do is I like to start out on just the map layer, like the, you know, your directions layer that doesn't show the satellite image. And the reason for that is I'll use this little park as an example. If you're like zoomed out like this here, you can see there's water on this park, right? But on the satellite view, it would be super hard to tell that there's really even anything here. I mean, it's way more cluttered. Now I do use satellite view for, you know, some specific functions, but for just, you know, kind of locating spots, I like to be on map. So what I like to do is I like to kind of, you know, search around for just bodies of water in general, right? So this one right here is one that's standing out to me. So just because it's a little bit larger, and it's near some road. So what we'll do is we'll zoom in on that. And okay, so we got, boom, Timberlake Homeowners Association, right? This looks like a pretty good spot so far. But it could be in a gated community. There could be no fishing signs, right? So those are the things you're not really sure of. But overall, this, you know, is looking promising. So once I've found a location that I kind of want to dig into a little bit further, what I'll do is I'll open up satellite view, just to get a better idea of kind of like what's around the pond. Usually in satellite view is where you can tell if you're in private property or not. But this does not look like a private property. This is a Timberlake Homeowners Association. So that means this is probably common land that's owned by the HOA, right? Typically HOAs can be a pain. You have a lot of Karens that live in there, and you know, this is a spot that you might get kicked out of, right? But digging it, just looking at this a little bit harder, there's definitely a parking lot here and over here that looks like a dock there, and there's a little bit of a greenway, kind of like walkway around this thing. So that's actually a really good sign. So then what I like to do is, if possible, I like to use Street View. So we'll grab Street View here, and we're going to dump it in. We're going to go on this far side of the lake where these houses are at, and just kind of give it a look. So that actually looks really good. What's promising so far is that I don't see any kind of signs along the road. You want to look for signs. Sometimes you can avoid, you know, wasting your time going to a spot that has a bunch of no fishing signs posted, just by kind of like looking around here. So I don't see, what was that? I don't see any signs. I'm not sure what this sign is, but we're about to figure that out right now. No one under 21 is allowed. Okay, so that has nothing to do with fishing. Works for me.
So let's keep going down. I don't see any signs. I see lots of birds. Back that away. So that's usually a good sign if you're looking to do some carp fishing. Typically, if there's a lot of birds that get fed, you're going to find a lot of carp. But this little pond looks pretty good overall so far, and I don't see anything that says you can't fish. What's this? Must be the builder sign. Yep. So I don't see anything so far that says you can't fish. That sign right there looks to be the same as that other sign. Hard to say, but I don't see anywhere that says you can't fish. Looks like we got some structure right there in the water. I mean, this does say no trespassing, private drive, but who says we don't live there? Maybe I live in this neighborhood. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see. This looks like a pretty promising spot. I mean, they've got signs posted everywhere, so it's hard to tell if that's a no fishing sign or not because it's kind of out there. But this is definitely one that I would want to go check out in person just to, see the lay of the land and scope it out, right? The worst thing that can happen is somebody's going to tell you that you can't be there and they're going to ask you to leave. So that's kind of, where I'm at with these kind of places like this. So once you've decided now that you kind of want to go check the spot out in person, it's probably a good spot. What you'll do is just want to click on it, either click on like a landmark like this or actually click on just the pond itself. Click on that and then you can just save it in your saved list. This is not an account that I use for fishing spots. It's an old account. I think I had some antique stores saved on it back in Florida, stuff like that. But I'll just save it right here under the fishing spot list that I created, and there you go. So now you got this spot saved. So we'll know, we can open up that fishing spot list and we can come back to this spot to try it out at another time. Give you guys another example or two of doing this. So, kind of a good idea to, find some more spots is the same thing, just kind of roll around here. This might be a good example of some private property. Yeah, so like this pond here, I would say you should not go fish. Now, you might be able to park on the side of the road right there and walk, but this is definitely private property. Same thing with this one. This is definitely private property. In my opinion, I would not go fishing these ponds. This is asking for problems, especially if there's no real parking here. Let's keep going and see like stuff like this here. What is this? Okay, so this is like a utility thing. So see like that's not even ponds, but see like you got Beaver Creek right here. So what you could do is like you see Beaver Creek. So let's go back. Let's just scroll down and see if there's a spot that we can, find that we can maybe park to get into the creek, right? Parker Cemetery, I would say that's probably not the best spot. But with creeks, what I like to do is just kind of, follow them and see, where there's some intersections. Oh, boom, right here. You got Royal Arthur Storm Water Park. So this is a good spot here. Let's see, let's go to street view or to satellite view. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. So you got some parking right here. This is an actual like public park. And then you've got creek access right here. Now, this looks a little bit deeper. This might be good for a kayak float. Then you got this little retention pond back here, and then the creek keeps going. So this would probably be a good spot to put a kayak in, or just fish the bank right here along this park. The park looks like it goes down to about here before you start getting into some private property. And then I see there's a little bit of a walking path. So yeah, that's a good spot. So this is another one that I would click on, and I would just save it right under my fishing spots. And this works too for this works too for like even more remote areas like this, like out here in the park, the Smoky Mountain National Park. You can use this to find spots too. I mean, there's a million creeks out here, but kind of what you could do is like you got this road and then you got a creek here, right? So, out here in the mountains is a little bit harder to get a street view in, or to get a satellite view in. Out here in the mountains, it's a little bit harder to get a satellite view just because there's so much tree cover. But this is the Little River here, which is a good trout river, from what I understand. I don't actually think I fished this before. But
But you got this like Curry Mountain Trailhead right here. So this might be, some of these little mountain streams are a little bit harder to find access on, because like this stream will kind of be down like a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a gorge, but it'll kind of be down like a really steep embankment. So sometimes they're a little bit harder to find. But like this right here, how there's like a trail that goes right at the edge of the river. This would probably be perfect to get in and start wading. And then like you literally have like Ware Cove Picnic. Yeah, look at this right here. Parking area. So like this would be one that, I would probably save this spot here, right? Just because like you got parking, you got creek access, river access, and you could use that to just kind of wade up the creek and fish it. So, like I said, this works great for, rural areas as well. Again, like what I like to look for is just blue sections of water, and then you can use that to go to satellite view. And this looks like a private pond, but again, that's where satellite view kind of helps. You can see what's private and what's not, or at least, use your best judgment on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, well, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. It lets me and YouTube know that you guys like the video, so it gets pushed out to other people. And don't forget to subscribe. I've got videos planned, and hopefully we'll be publishing one every single Sunday. So make sure you stay tuned and stick around for the next banger video we got coming out. Thanks again, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.